Speaking of Belichick and the Patriots, Tom Brady's, and look, I hope, Rob, that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are not looking past the LA Rams this weekend, because that's a game that is dangerous for them. The Rams are a very good team, and so they better not be looking past them. We'll get into that more probably tomorrow. But the reason I say they better not be looking past them is because so many people are pointing towards next week's return to New England of Tom Brady. They're saying, Rob, this will be the biggest regular season game in NFL history. I mean, it's just all the hoopla and the pomp and circumstance, and it's going to be huge. There's no denying it. And so people are already talking about it. And as you know, we come from a newspaper background. What the local reporters in New England are doing is what? They're writing about it. And they're going out and trying to talk to whoever they can to talk about this. You had Tom Brady's dad on, I believe, a local radio station.
That's all he does is talk. I mean, it's unbelievable. It sounds like he played in the league, the way he talks.
Hey, I guess his son won 7 Super Bowls. He can say what he wants. So he was talking. No, he wasn't, I don't think it was on the radio, but he was talking to Tom Curran podcast. And he talked about how Brady feels vindicated for, winning that Super Bowl in Tampa Bay last year. And now, Rob, Alex Guerrero, who is Tom Brady's trainer, longtime trainer, architect along with Brady of the TB12 method. And that's what they credit to his longevity and so on and so forth. And he's the guy who Belichick, kind of wanted, didn't want to have such reign in the Patriots facility and didn't want so many players from the Patriots seeing him and all that. And so he spoke to the Boston Herald, Rob. And here's what he said, and then I'd like to get your comments. He said, it was like Bill never really... I think his emotions or feelings never evolved with age. Tom got into his late 30s or early 40s. I think Bill was still trying to treat him like that 20-year-old kid that he drafted. And all the players, I think, realized Tom was different. He's older, so he should be treated differently. And all the players, none of them would have cared that he was treated differently. I think that was such a Bill thing, as in Belichick. He never evolved. So you can't treat someone who's in his 40s like they're 20. It doesn't work. Rob, your thoughts?
Guerrero, isn't he the trainer that had one of the Patriots busted for juice? He's that trainer, isn't he? I think who was the player?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'll get the name, but Edelman. Edelman got busted working under the TB method, and Guerrero. Guerrero was such an invasive person that Bill Belichick, a guy who should be like a piece of paneling on the wood, who should be like a chair or a piece of furniture when you're just a trainer. You should be seen and not heard, wants to be a celebrity. That's why this guy is talking the way he does. That's why Bill Belichick didn't want him around on the team plane and in the facility. Do your business elsewhere when you want to be a star trainer in a facility where Tom Brady's not the only person there. There are other players, and he did let Tom Brady have some special treatment because Guerrero, imagine if every player wanted their own trainer in the facility like Tom Brady had. The idea that Guerrero could come out of his mouth and say he didn't treat Tom Brady any differently than when he was a 22-year-old kid is nonsense. Guerrero had free reign. What are you talking about? And Bill Belichick, why would he change who he is and treat people? It's worked for him. He won 6 Super Bowls. He had great defenses. Guys came and went. They didn't pay people. They brought in other people. They kept winning. Why would he change? So this whole idea is just another one of those things of a guy who should be working with Tom Brady, keeping his mouth shut, be a trainer, Most trainers, you don't even know their names. You've never heard sound bites from trainers because that's not who they should be. They shouldn't be those guys. It's like an umpire. We shouldn't know your name. If you're making the calls, we don't even know who you are. That's what a trainer's supposed to be. You're supposed to be like third base. We need you for the game, but nobody comes to see you. Stop it.
Well, look, I don't know anything about Alex Guerrero other than his affiliation with Tom Brady, TB12, and some of the other players around the league. He does look like he is a tad bit publicity hungry.
Okay,
I'll give you
I'm
that.
glad you agree with that.
And I don't know if it's hungry or whatever, but he is definitely in the public eye more than your average trainer. I'll give you that. That said, I still think he's right in what he said. And I don't think, every player's not going to have their own personal trainer, but every player's not Tom Brady. LeBron James has his own personal trainer, and he's there at the Lakers facility. No, he's there at the Lakers facility. Every Laker doesn't have their own personal trainer, but LeBron does. Kawhi Leonard had his own personal training staff. They're at the facility. They're doing what they do with Kawhi.
He said Bill Belichick didn't treat Brady any different.
Well, Belichick ended up essentially wanting to boot Guerrero out of the facility. And that's kind of what he did. And these are the things that led to the acrimony that was there. But what I agree with, Rob, and obviously I wasn't there. I'm basing it on the reports and all of that stuff. But Bill seemed, and like you said, he's consistent. I mean, no player was treated better than any other player. But sometimes there are exceptions. There are. LeBron James gets treated differently. Michael Jordan got treated differently. Bill Russell, we know this, Rob, he got treated differently. He didn't practice a lot of the time. Wilt Chamberlain said, look, you want me to go to shoot around? I'm coming once, coach. I'll come for the morning shoot around or I'll come for the evening game. Which one you want? When you're that good, you get special treatment. It's just as simple as that. And Brady didn't get that treatment early on. And I think later in age, as he should have gotten more special treatment because I think he was mature enough to not abuse it. Clearly, he wouldn't have abused it. He's not abusing it in Tampa. So I give Belichick a ton of credit, Rob. I don't think if Brady goes anywhere else that he becomes the Tom Brady that we know. I think Belichick's ability to develop him, his choice to stick with him when Drew Bledsoe came back, and the fact that they had the great defense and Belichick knew not to put too much on Brady's shoulders early when he wasn't good enough. And they were able to win 3 Super Bowls. But then as Brady matured, got better, and really developed into an individual superstar, not just a guy that wins games, that's when I think Belichick should have at least evolved, to use Guerrero's words, a little bit. Not totally, but a little bit to accompany, accommodate, I should say, a great player. And he got his 6 rings, Rob, to your point. He's got 6 rings, but he may have cost himself more rings. Obviously, Brady got one last year. If Brady, it depends on how much more winning he does. If he just wins this 1 Super Bowl last year, Rob, I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal that, Belichick let him go prematurely. But if he wins another one, then I think that's when, and Belichick doesn't win anymore, that's when it'll become a bigger deal. But, all right, Alex Guerrero said Belichick should have evolved and treated Tom Brady better. I agree with Guerrero. Rob doesn't. Where are you?
All right, let's kick it off with Christian in Utah. You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Christian?
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Yes.
Yep.
So the revisionist history revolving around Brady has gotten out of hand. Let's not forget the 10-year gap between 2005 and 2016.
Thank you.
Where they didn't win anything. And guess what happened in that 10 years? Brady got his own private helicopter from his house to the stadium.
Thank you.
Robert Kraft waited on his every foot. and they didn't win anything. The only championship that they won where Brady was basically pampered was 2015. Alex Guerrero got kicked off that airplane in 2017, and they went on to win Super Bowls in 2017, 2019.
Thank you.
And so they needed Belichick and the organization going by the Patriot way to win those championships.
Well,
That's
the
why
Patriot way,
Guerrero-
just like
that's
you
why I
said,
take-
Brady. Just like
I
you said,
take-
Brady didn't win anything. The Patriot way didn't win anything those 10 years either.
Yeah, but Guerrero is out of bounds, Chris. Like the whole notion that Bill didn't do anything for Brady or he didn't evolve when Brady became like this star quarterback. That's not true. He didn't treat him like he was 22. It's just not true.
There's a lot of reports that say he did. Giselle Bundchen, I grade it. She's biased.
Okay, yeah,
Brady's wife.
okay,
But she said it too.
She was the one who was complaining about if the receivers could catch the ball in the Super Bowl. You remember that? Yeah, that's the voice of reason. His
I
wife.
remember saying he treated him like Johnny Foxborough.
Yeah, okay. Juan in Texas, you're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Juan?
Hey, guys, what's up? So here's my point. You got to think about if Brady treated him like, you want to say, a shunned child and treated him like he was 20 years old or whatever, he had to. Can you imagine after the 3 Super Bowls they won, if he let Brady be like he is now? You would have had teams drooling over him. Hey, we'll give you every draft pick we got for Tom Brady right now. And do you think Robert Kraft could have foreseen, hey, Tom Brady's going to take us to 3 more? There's no way.
I'm not sure what you're getting at. So you're saying after they won 3 Super Bowls,
or even 2, or even
Okay.
1, it doesn't matter. He had to keep him at that 20-year-old mindset and not, give him treat him better as they would put. Because I guess Bruce Arians is treating him better, and what's he doing now? He's in every commercial you see almost on TV.
Oh.
He's showing out, he's partying, and now teams are drooling over him at 40 years old, almost 50. Can you imagine the 20, 30-year-old Tom Brady?
I don't think Brady was good enough, even after the 3 Super Bowls, to be given the reins the way he has been in Tampa Bay. I think he really emerged, or at least showed, that he was actually super special individually when Randy Moss got there. At least with me, that's when I started looking at Tom Brady like, yo, this dude is really special. Because you gave him a good receiver like a lot of the great quarterbacks have had, and he put up record numbers. And so I think it's from that point on that kind of the Tom Brady we think of today emerged. I don't think he was that as good as that early on to give him that superstar treatment.
In Vegas, you're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Joey?
What's up, Chris and Rob? Thank you guys for having me so much. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
So,
Thanks.
The way I feel about it is just the way you look at treatment of somebody. I mean, nobody really knows the interior details of their personal man-to-man relationship. But when you look at what Bell put him on and surrounded him with, Brady's always had a top 5 offensive line, top 10 scoring defense, players around him to keep him in the facility, you know what I mean? Keep him upright, keep them in games that he can express his ability to play and win. And then when you go into the 2010s and later, Brady became the highest paid quarterback in the NFL multiple times and reset the market in order for Belichick to show how he appreciates Tom Brady. So I think what Guerrero came out and said is kind of more like what you were saying, Rob, more like an attention, look at me kind of thing.
Right.
Because Belichick booted him after a certain point because he got tired of his shit, basically. But yeah,
right.
Okay. Point taken.
Yeah, we got it. And Chris, you know this. He was around for a while. Belichick got tired of it. Like it became, and I'm sure when Edelman got busted on the juice or whatever he was on, HGH or whatever, that had to bother Belichick. So. You know what I mean? Like if you're a coach, you're letting this guy in the facility, Edelman's working out with him and training with him, and now I get one of my receivers and he gets busted for the juice. Right. Wouldn't you you have a problem if you were a coach?
Yeah,
I would.
Yeah, I would. I think what happened, in my opinion, Rob, Belichick, his philosophy is what? Get rid of him earlier rather than
later. A lot of guys didn't get paid there. You know that.
So I think he looked at Brady that way and was looking for his replacement. And then I think, Rob, he had what many people have in terms of human nature, the desire to prove he could do it without Brady. As Brady got more and more credit, I think Belichick felt, man, I created this dude and built him into what he is, and he's getting all the credit. So I personally feel like Belichick wants to prove he can win without Brady. If he does win without Brady, he'll be fine. If he doesn't, there'll be pushback.
I don't think that was his. I just think when you get a quarterback at a certain age, I think what he was just doing was the nature of the NFL and the nature of players. You would rather get rid of somebody a year or two too early than a year or two too late. I just think that is commonplace, and Tom Brady is been different because
he's
things have
not
been able
common.
to. But I'm just saying, like what Belichick did, I don't think that he was like, oh no, I don't want him to win. I want to win without him. I don't believe that entered his mind. I just think he thought, we just won a Super Bowl where Tom Brady had no touchdowns, and my defense held the highest scoring, one of the highest scoring offenses ever to 3 points on an 89-yard field goal. And Brady had 200 yards and no touchdowns and an interception. That's what I think he saw. I don't think he was doing it out of ego. That's just my take.
That's not looking too good for him right now. Looking like a miscalculation, but